This episode is proudly sponsored by Ramset, manufacturer and supplier to the Australian construction industry for over 70 years. Started in Australia, still in Australia, staying in Australia.
Welcome to another episode of the Built Different podcast, the podcast for tradies that are built different. Brought to you by HIA, this is the show where you get to hear about how to make it in the Australian building and construction industry. Simon, I think today's topic is really an important one, and it's talking about the upside of failure.
We are, and failure is a very important part and a natural part of any tradie's progression. You know, learning from your own mistakes, learning from other people's mistakes, because you're not going to get it right first every time.
Building resilience along the way each time that you do fall over,
Of
right?
course. So our guest today is someone that I am very excited to speak to, and I'm sure a few of you will be able to put the connection together and work out why. It is the very funny, very entertaining, very talented, wearing many different hats, the Lady Tradie, Aimee.
Oh,
Aimee, welcome to the
show.
podcast.
Thanks for having me. What an intro. My head's like this big there. Funny, entertaining. Let's just leave it at that.
Well, look,
You're going to live up to the expectations.
for anyone that follows you and your journey on social media, I think they know exactly what you're in for. Because you do. You're just an absolute ray of sunshine in the construction industry and that space. So we're stoked to have you on board.
Oh, I'm happy to be here. I never would have thought like 10 years ago I'll be on a podcast talking about failure. That wasn't a goal for me, but here we are. I'm the number one advocate for failure.
But you know what, like being someone who doesn't shy away from, the fact that you have made mistakes, but you've learned from them and pushed through them and, come right out the other side. We're stoked to have you here and to chat through some of those things.
Oh, definitely.
So before we get into it, you're obviously a tradie, and this is a new game that we have been playing and one that I like, putting Ryan through some pain and guessing the power tool. So we have 3 power tools that I'm going to play for you here that I have recorded at home in my garage, and you're going to see if you can guess what they are.
Oh, you actually recorded them
I
yourself?
did. Yeah, I did. Yeah, and so we have exclusive rights to these recordings. All right. So the first one, and Ryan, I'll let you go first. As someone who has.
I was hoping you'd jump in before me.
Let's see how you go. Okay.
I'm sweating. I'm sweating.
Me too, don't worry.
Yeah, no pressure as a qualified tradesperson. It actually doesn't matter if Ryan doesn't get anything right. But here we go.
It's expected that I get it wrong. That's a circular saw.
Aimee, what do you think?
I was going to say circular saw.
Well done. It is. He's go on. Go on.
1 from 1. We're all right there. We're all right.
We have to start with an easy one. All right. They get a little bit more difficult from here. Okay, this is number 2. Oh, fire away.
Haven't you?
Yeah, that's good.
I feel like we need a noise to buzz in.
I could look at the confusion on your face, Ryan. I don't think you knew where that one was going.
Yeah, nope. There was some vibrating of some sort in there.
I'm just picturing Simon in his garage with the phone recording these.
You had a great time.
All right, and number 3. So 3 from 3. This is a little bit tougher. Let's see if you can guess what this one is. Oh, we're having some confused faces in here. Ryan's got
Okay, look, my go-to is like it's some sort of drill of some sort, but I feel like that's wrong.
Yeah, okay. Aimee, do we want to listen to it again?
Yeah, let's listen to it again.
No, it's not a drill. It's a angle grinder.
No.
No.
Damn it.
See, all that's going on in my head is a circular saw, but with a metal bit in it. Like,
Yeah, well, you're good. Or you're close on in that direction. It's a oh god, what do we actually call it? It's a
the metal bit's circular saw.
I was at a mental blank here. Oh my god, it's a plastering gun where you actually have the it's an auto feed screwdriver used for like a plastering gun.
How was I close?
Well, you said like it sounded like the circular saw with the metal bit in it because you could hear where it was like jamming on the screws at the end there.
That's what I knew it was jamming on screws, and that's what I thought.
Well, look, you did pretty well. So look, 2 from 3 will pass that, and Ryan, you got the first one. So well done there.
Thank you.
All right. So let's get into it. So Aimee, do you want to tell us a little bit about what you're doing now and what you have on your plate, because there's a bit going on.
There is a bit going on. As I like to say, everything just always falls at once, and you just got to enjoy the ride and, learn how to do it. So I'm 32 weeks pregnant, so little baby girl coming along.
Oh, amazing.
Soon. And so I've kind of got to learn how to do things with one hand.
Oh.
But I'm launching a women's workwear brand in the next month as well. So that's
How
kind
good.
of
What's it called?
Zadie Workwear. Get
Excellent.
around it. Built by tradeswomen to fit your hips, butts and thighs.
Great.
Butts. Just in case you have more than one.
And whereabouts will people be able to find that? While we're at it?
We'll be in selected workwear stores around Australia.
Great.
So I'll be heading there to kit them out soon. And then I got Tiny Stays, my little firstborn baby, which is building the tiny houses and renting them out as short-term accommodation, which is just cruising along now. It's really good.
It looks like it's been
Awesome.
such a booming business as well for you.
Yeah. Oh, we're so lucky. It's such a good gig, and getting out there and trying to get people to escape their emails, escape their bosses, and get back to nature. Yeah, it's been a really good journey.
And how many have you built now?
We built 7. So, yeah, they get better each time.
Yeah, I was going to say, how has the process been? Like having that repetitiveness and learning about what works, what doesn't?
Yeah, at the start, my dad's a builder, which is good. Obviously, I'm a plumber by trade, so it came in really handy. And my brother's a firefighter and an ex-accountant, so that is kind of
Probably,
handy.
ex-accountant more than the firefighter.
Yeah,
You don't really want to use
firefighter,
those skills.
That's so true. So the first one, to be honest, we didn't have any plans or anything. We just
Went at it.
bought a trailer and started building, and then we're like, this turned out all right. We should build more. And they've continually grown, and you progress. And I think definitely the off-grid side of things is a lot harder than we thought. But it's just like a normal house. You kind of build it up, build the frame, kit it out, and
Are they on wheels or?
yeah, they're on wheels. So it's on a trailer. Then we just take it out to like a beautiful location, rent land.
Yep.
Chuck them there, and get people to come out.
And they look so great. They're in beautiful locations. You get usually a little fireplace or something out the front, and a nice little like retreat away from reality. So it looks really cool.
Literally, we always say, bring your phone, tag us on Instagram, but then put it away and enjoy the experience.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I like it.
Tag us first, sorry.
So before you got to where you are now, what was your progression into tradie life? Because you weren't always set out to be a tradie, were you?
No, I wasn't great at school. I was, got expelled. That's another bottle of wine. That was fun. And then kind of moved schools and just kind of saw everyone else was doing beauty therapy and thought, oh, yeah, I'll just do that.
That'll do.
Couldn't paint nails, horrible at it, could not do it. And then I was still a bit lost with what I wanted to do. And someone said to me one night, oh, women can't be tradies. And I'm very stubborn. And I'm like, yeah, they can. And
Love
I
to
thought I thought back to the time because my dad's a builder and we used to go camping and then after go to the servo and get ice creams. And the Magnum ice cream.
Yeah,
Yep.
I am familiar.
Yeah. The expensive one, right? Yeah. I went to grab one day when I was young and Dad looked me in the eyes. He said, Aimee, that's a plumber's ice cream. Only plumbers can afford Magnums. In this house, we eat Frosty Fruits. So from that point, I sort of had something in the back of my head. I'm like, what's this plumbing job? I can have as many Magnums as I want. And then so when I was looking at a trade, because I was good at my hands, I was like, do this plumbing job. So that's kind of how it went to plumbing, finished the apprenticeship and ate so many Magnums.
How's that for a origin story? That's awesome. So
It was
good.
always destined. by the
It
sound of
And
it.
what kind of plumbing did you start off doing?
I did roof plumbing my first year and a half of my apprenticeship. I actually applied for 120 jobs and only heard back from one. So I'm like, well, I'll take that one. Had a pretty awful first week.
Yep.
Got my head stuck in a scaffold. crashed my car through the job site fence.
Yep.
Got a piece of metal stuck in my butt. And then, like, this is the first week.
Yeah.
Oh,
And then on the
That's
last...
enough to drive anyone away to give it up.
I'm surprised I didn't get the arse.
Yeah.
Like that. And then on the Friday, I fell through the roof of a job and
Wow.
was hanging there. And some guy was eating a sandwich and he's like, "How are you going?" I'm like, "Maybe this isn't for me." But
We
there's
obviously
the fella.
persisted. Well, yeah, and look, as we said, like the theme of today is about the upside of failure and, you know, persistence, pushing through those things. And like, if you hadn't got through that first week, you wouldn't be here today, right?
100%. And after that week, I went home. Actually, do you cry and you think I'm hopeless at this? But then I started to think I'm still learning. This is my first week on a job site, and I know someone being an apprentice, you would know how scary it is being a first-year apprentice.
It's terrifying.
It is absolutely terrifying. Everyone gives you their lunch money, like get me this and that and 2 coffees and
You're like, you pick up a hammer and you're like, am I even holding this the right way?
you're always under pressure. And I just thought to myself, look, I'm learning as long as I can go there every day and give it my all. And, you know, I'm going to fail. I'm going to mess things up.
Yep.
Yeah.
And as long as I can get along with everyone, ask questions and, you know, banter with the boys in the smoko shed and things like that, it's going to be fun, and I'm going to continue to learn.
That's good.
So I think, you know, there are some recurring themes there that come through because one of the questions that we like to ask is, you know, what were you like as an apprentice, and, you know, what are the sorts of things that make you a successful apprentice? And, you know, from then, you know, you've got asking lots of questions, listening, making sure you fit in with the crew.
Yeah.
And, you know, just being committed to it, right?
Yeah, and it's not even really, like, I suppose you don't have to fit in. It's just going there and actually being interested in your co-workers. Yeah. You know, everyone loves showing pictures of their babies. Oh, yeah, big Kev, great. Like, you know, like, and building those relationships at work to show that you're there to learn, you're making the effort. And the number one thing is just rocking up on time.
Yeah. And leaning in, like, it's so important, right? Like, when you're there, you're intrigued, you want to be there.
Yeah.
It makes a huge difference to your attitude and the people around you. Like, that's infectious. And it just proves that, you know, you do want to be part of the team. You do want to better yourself, and you're there for the right reasons. And that can get you through, you know, any of the mistakes that you make on the site, right? Like, if you're doing it for the right intention, you're not, like, negligent, then, you know, people will see that. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. Just give it your best shot, and people aren't going to. Everyone's different. There's so many different varieties of people on site. There's the older guys that have been doing it for 40 years and know it's their way or the highway. Even though being a first-year apprentice, second and probably third, you think you know everything. At some point, listen to them and take in what they're saying, and, you know, always learn and be respectful of that.
What advice would you give to someone who is going through, you know, that learning stage of their apprenticeship?
Just be like a sponge. Just embrace. You don't have to take everything on board. Not everything everyone's going to tell you is the right way to do it, but embrace it all. Respect the people and take out of it the best way for you to do it moving forward.
Yeah, that's good. Something I am excited to ask, because I think you can probably tell a story. What is the biggest failure that's happened to you or that you've seen on site?
Have you got, how long do you have here?
Give us the headline.
I think one of the biggest ones, apart from the first week, that was like a failure within itself. But after I did roof plumbing, I moved to mechanical plumbing, and great company, great place. And I don't know, like, there's copper pipe and there's a B press gun and you kind of put it together. And yeah, well, the aim of that is you've got to put it together. You've got to put the gun on it and you've got to connect the pipes to it. So I was on a job one day and I was like, normally I'm pretty good, but I obviously missed one join. It was in an apartment building. We're about to leave. They turn on the mains and just this massive pop, like it makes the biggest pop. It was in the ceiling. I was there watching. All the office workers thought there was like a gun happening. They thought someone had come and was trying to shoot them down.
Oh my God.
People would jump to the ground because it was that loud. And I was scared. I'm like, what is this? Is someone coming in? And then I'm like, Oh no!
Oh no!
That was my job. Oh crap!
Oh,
crap!
no.
So
That sinking feeling.
of like, why didn't you join that? And it was just a stupid mistake.
Yeah.
But then on, you obviously learn from it, and you're making sure you're double checking every single join.
Yeah. So the follow-up part to that question is, what are the biggest learnings that you've had from those mistakes along your journeys?
Make sure I mark off with text to what joins I've.
Really specifically. But
The biggest, definitely the biggest ones are no matter how much you think you know, you've always got to be switched on about what you're doing. And you see it all the time. If you're in your apprenticeship or if you're a builder for 40 years, one small mistake can be life-changing.
Yeah.
And I saw that with my dad. Like, he fell off a ladder a few years ago and had to put one of those big, those cage things they drift.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
And he, that was crazy. I made a good YouTube video of it, Life in the Cage, though.
Don't miss the content opportunity.
But it is a nice little reminder that, we do spend so much time on site, playing with tools, and it is a high-risk environment where we do get so comfortable playing with power tools, walking, or working at, high above the ground. And we are always just one step away from something that, can be quite dangerous. And it is just a nice reminder that we do need to ensure that you always have to be alert, always have to be listening and switched on, because you can't switch off in that environment regardless of how comfortable you get.
Yeah, and I mean it's all well and good for us to laugh in the face of some of these failures, but some of them can be quite serious if you don't take it seriously.
Definitely. You hear stories every single day. So it's just always going to work, is switched on. Yeah, that's the main thing, being switched on.
So, why do you think, we are talking, failure is the theme of today, but why do you think it's important to fail along the way?
It is so important to fail, and I never knew this at the start. When I was, as an apprentice, you get beat down so much, and you constantly think you're doing the wrong thing all the time. But I learned that, okay, that's not the way to do it. Now let's give it another crack. So this isn't just in life on the tools. If I'm starting up a business, or if I'm doing something at home, or I'm trying to find an opportunity, it's always like, all right, I've tried that way. That failed. Nah, bad luck. I kind of give myself a high five. All right, what's the next way?
Pivot. Yeah.
What's the next way? What's the next way? And I've done it with so many things, for instance, speaking opportunities. Back when I started speaking on women in the trades, the first thing I did, I emailed every single school in Victoria about, come on, get me down. I want to women in the trades kind of thing. None of them wrote back. And then it's like, all right, what's a better way to do this? And then
Email
it's just
them
harass them. I think I got my first one was my old school I went to, and that was me harassing them for 2 months, just like, come on, have me on. Like, I got a good story. Then I went there. It was about 100 year 10 boys.
Yep.
To year 12. I got on the stage. I got a videographer there on my first one. I'm an idiot. And I got on the stage.
Ambitious.
Yes. And I'm like, hello. And someone booed me and said, get off the stage.
No.
And I'm like, and then I gave them feedback cards, and then they just had their numbers on it and stuff, and you're hot. And I'm like, all right, let's try this another way.
That's great. That kind of persistence there. Can you talk a little bit about the mindset that you need when you are trying something new, whether because you're always trying to aim for success. You don't know if it's going to fail yet, and then you have to adjust from there. But what's your mindset throughout trying something new?
My mindset is, if I don't do it now, I'm never going to do it. And I always, as weird as it sounds, I always look at myself on my deathbed, dying, and I'm like, imagine I just didn't go for that opportunity. And you see so many people make excuses about, I can't do that. I just can't do it. And then they get older and they're like, I wish I would have just given it a crack, because you never know what's going to happen. And to me, life's an adventure. Yeah. It is such an adventure, and there's going to be so much that goes wrong. But it's only going to go wrong if you put yourself out there, and then it just, stuff goes wrong, but then you come out the other end, you're like, I'm on this cool podcast talking about failure. Like, I'm doing all right.
Doing all right.
But, it's also about like, the what could go wrong, but often what you think can go wrong and what actually does go wrong are kind of two different things.
Oh, 100%. And you get in your head. And as much as I wake up every day, I've got such a positive attitude and things go wrong and I'm like,
You're doing it with a smile on your face.
I literally do. I like, it makes me laugh and I think, oh, this is a great story or this is
to take this one to the next podcast.
I was listening. I'm going to bring a quote in from the song I was listening to on the plane. It said, 100 bad days equals 100 good stories, and 100 good stories makes me interesting at parties.
That's good.
That's
great.
That's really quite wise, isn't it?
It was a really good song. But it makes sense. Like, you're out there for the adventure. Yeah. And if people say they don't fail or things don't go wrong, it's because you're not stepping out of your comfort zone and you're not growing. If you're not growing, you're dying.
Yeah.
So speaking about adventure and stepping out of your comfort zone, you implement in your life a couple of little things you call circuit breakers. Do you want to talk about the importance of those and what you believe a circuit breaker is?
Yeah, for sure. Once I finished my apprenticeship and, it looked like I had it all. I had this house with a massive mortgage. I had this brand new car with a massive car loan. I had a pet pig named Constable Crackles. And and from the outside, I was 21 and commercial plumber. It looked like I had it all, but I wasn't happy. I'm like, oh, is that all there is? Is this my life? Is this my life? And I just woke up one day and I think everyone realizes it at some point in their life that life is magical and precious. You might be 80, you might be 60, or you, like me, I was lucky enough at 21 to go, why am I doing this? There's more to life. I want to go adventure. So I sold everything, quit my job, and I did this massive walk from Melbourne to Canberra because someone said, I think I was at the pub and someone kind of said, you could walk from Melbourne to Canberra and then...
I'm noticing a theme here. So don't tell you can't do something.
I know, it's probably the same guy. And then I remember the next, I'd never stepped out of my comfort zone like that before quitting everything, and I had my backpack the next day.
That's awesome.
I'm going to go for it.
Yep.
You actually made it happen as well.
I made it happen.
It wasn't just a pipe dream. You had follow through.
I made it happen because I posted it on Facebook stupidly because then I thought I had to do it.
Holding yourself accountable.
Took the words out of my mouth.
Holding myself accountable. And I remember my mum looking me in the eyes. I got my backpack, I had a roll of toilet paper, had my work boots on. And I said to them, Mum, Dad, at least I'm not on drugs. I'm just going for a walk. And they're like,
could be worse, right?
All right.
Could be worse. So that, I think it was 30 days just sleeping on the side of the road and just walking to Canberra. I got my bag stolen. Obviously I cried every day, but...
One hell of a story, right? One hell of an adventure.
But that's it. And I got there and my whole perspective on life had changed. I'm like, why don't we get out and do these random things? Even though I did get to Canberra and go, why am I here? There's not much going on here.
Sorry, Canberra.
Sorry, Canberra. So then I hitchhiked home. But I got home and I'm like, I'm going to make a pact to myself that I need to do something at least once a year to completely step out of my comfort zone. And from that day, I think the next thing was walking 24 hours, like without just constantly walking 100 Ks. And then...
Yeah, what other circuit breakers have you done?
I did the start of this year. I rode my bike from Melbourne to Adelaide.
Have you done much riding before?
No. So that was nah. Like I'd gone around the lake and stuff like that, but
it's not exactly riding between cities. Jeez.
The guy in the
Full
bike shop
commitment.
had the same reaction you did when I told him I'm off to Adelaide. But for me, and I don't suggest doing these things untrained, but for me, I have to do them untrained because if I train for them, I'll get scared and probably pull out and realize. But if you go for it, and that's the same as anything, if you're starting a business, starting a family, don't think too much about it.
Dive in head first.
Dive in, go for it, and then think halfway through, why am I doing this? But I'm here now, so I've got to keep going.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Don't psych yourself out of it.
Yeah.
And what was the most recent one that you did? Because it had a different adventure.
Yes, that was a different adventure because I was pregnant. I did a silent retreat. So you go to this place in the bushes with all these other random people. You're not allowed to talk to them. You're not allowed to talk at all. I think it was 3 or 4 days.
Yep.
And you meditate for 8 hours straight. And this is what I wanted for my birthday. My friends and family were like, what do you want for your birthday? I'm like, I want to do the silent retreat. And they're like,
Wow.
what is that
is that?
punishment? I'm like, you sit in a room for 8 hours and don't talk and meditate. They're like, oh, okay. And that experience, the hardest thing wasn't not talking, which I was surprised. It is a bit awkward when someone opens the door for you and you're like,
Give him a little nod.
and everyone's eating at the table and they're like,
Yeah, wow, okay.
A whole of people eating.
but
I'm sure that's someone's nightmare.
sitting there being in your own head for 8 hours, just like, I know this is a podcast, but just like, all right, I'm sitting here, I'm not moving.
It's a lot.
It's a lot, and it gets in your head. And so many people, it was struggling probably for the first 6 hours of the day. My head's going around crazy, and then finally I would zone out.
Yeah.
But then again, you've challenged yourself. You've put yourself out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
And done something that you didn't think you'd ever be capable of, and come through the other side, and gained a one hell of a story and some great perspective at the same time.
Yeah, no, I love it, and I can't see my life without doing something crazy like that at least once a year, because in life you always hit a point you're like, all right, it's been quite comfortable, I'm not really growing, work's good, and then that's when you're like, all right, I need to do something.
Yep.
That's
I
so
need to
good.
do something.
Yeah.
So after you do these circuit breakers, do they provide some sort of clarity for you? Is it the opportunity to reset sort of, life goals? I mean, you've got so much going on at the moment, real entrepreneurial spirit. Like, is it just after these sort of circuit breakers that you kind of have those goals, come about?
Yeah, definitely. I kind of do these circuit breakers when I'm kind of hitting a spot where everything's kind of being the same and I need that push of motivation.
Yeah.
So I come home from them very tired most of the time. But I come home from them and I'm like, oh, now I'm going to smash it out. I'm going to smash this out because you have so much time to think, because these are all done solo. My husband always says, oh, do you want me to come for the ride?
No,
I'm
that's
like,
the point.
You hold me back. You hold me back. I just need to go.
Yeah.
But he's there to support you, which is really cool.
He keeps a tracker on me so I don't get abducted and stuff. But I just think, why shouldn't I be allowed, and especially as a woman as well, like people do worry about me when I go do these things solo, and it's like, why shouldn't I be allowed to go and take a walk for a month or ride a bike for 2 weeks?
It's really cool. You get out there and do it.
What do you guys? So what's a circuit breaker for you? We need one.
Mine's getting down and getting in the ocean and going for a surf.
Yep.
It's when you're out there, there's no technology, there's nothing that can bother you there, and it's just a pure grounding experience, and it just helps me clear my head and have some time for me doing something that I'm passionate about and that I love doing. And that's a nice little reset, and it doesn't need to take long, but it's just time away from the grind and something that I love doing, and that is great for me.
I love that. I love that.
Last question. I'd love to hear a little bit about your woman cave, because anyone who follows you on social media.
You know what? I checked that out the other day. It's unreal.
Really
Yeah.
cool. So you built this woman cave in your backyard with a secret entry door, and it is lit.
Oh, I love that project so much. It's called Rowdy Mary's.
Rowdy Mary's.
Yeah. So
Is there a story in that name?
I have all these pictures on the wall, and one's a nun smoking a cigarette and drinking a beer. So I kind of, she's a bit rowdy, and then so kind of eventuated from there. It's so good to have a space where it's just your own place, and there's beer on tap. There's all these crazy pictures. There's a TV. Unfortunately, at the moment, my husband spends more time out there than me because I'm pregnant. I get withdrawal. I get bad vibes going out there because I'm like, I just feel like a beer. I'm gonna stay off it for a while. But creating little projects like that at home, I love doing them. I love getting creative and just doing something different.
Yeah, it looks awesome. So do you want to tell all our listeners whereabouts they can find you and go see all everything that you're up to? Go check out your woman cave. Whereabouts can they find a little bit of Aimee?
Oh, awesome. Everywhere at the moment. Well, I got all the women out there. Check out Zadie Workwear, built by tradeswomen to fit your hips, butts and thighs, as I said, and then also tiny stays. But if anyone wants to hit me up for anything, like shoot me a message on Instagram. I think it's Aimee Stanton. Yeah, I'm always willing to talk about anything trade related, and just want to see people more out there live life as an adventure and enjoy every day, as well as having that work-life balance.
Yeah, it's awesome to see inspiring the next generation of tradies coming through, both male and female. It's awesome. So, yeah, thank you for coming on board and spending some time with us today on the podcast.
Yeah, thanks, Aimee.
Thanks for having me.
So that's just about all we've got time for on the show today. It's been an absolute blast, and your stories that you've been able to share with us today have been so inspiring, and I'm sure our listeners will be able to take something away from it as well. So this has been another episode of the Built Different podcast. Check us out on Instagram at Built Different Australia, and don't forget to subscribe to the pod so you don't miss an episode. That's been another episode of the Built Different podcast, the podcast for tradies that are built different. This episode was brought to you by Ramset. Simon, you as an apprentice know just how tough it can be as an apprentice on a construction site.
Mate, I certainly do.
And that's why Ramset are dedicated to supporting the next generation with the Ramset Apprentice Program.
Right now, Ramset are giving apprentices all over Australia the opportunity to win $6,000 worth of tools and gear for a limited time. Whether you're a chippy, a sparky, or a plumber, or anything in between, head to www.ramset.com.au/apprentice program 2023 to learn more and enter to win. Get set with Ramset.